Game number 2, we see Gasante Galio. Galio has always been difficult to execute on the pro stage. You see the combination of Kindred and Galio being put together. It has not had success so far. They got blown out last time they tried it. It has the tools, right? The composition, in theory, is very, very nice. Galio being the only AP threat, not the best in the world, but you have Casante that can move people. You have Galio that can land on the Lamb's Respite. So very much looking at a front-to-back carry, going to be very slow-paced, Kindred and Aphelios centric. Just, hey, we're going to survive the dive from Annie, Viego, Nautilus, Malphite. But holy moly, is that a lot of dive. Even Zeri can join in on the party, so Loud has drafted a composition for themselves, this time to be much more proactive. It did not work to sit back. They weren't finding the opportunities to counterattack. There were a few. They weren't getting the best advantage out of them. So instead they go, coaching staff gives them a more proactive composition, and PSG goes full counter to that. You want to dive on us? Well, we've got Casante, we've got Thresh, Kindred to keep everybody alive, and then Galio to slam on top of wherever the Lamb's Respite may be. So, can we find the windows, right? A team fight composition like this, they need to be as a group to get this counterattack damage out. Otherwise, they never really force the situation. They don't have tools to really make the fight happen. So I expect that they will get ripped apart in a split pushing situation. That said, Malphite Annie, not particularly good at it. Viego, sure, but if he's showing on the map in the side lane, then they're going to have other weaknesses. So where is Loud going to create side pressure that is going to pull one of these key components aside? How are they going to create the tempered lane for themselves? Or are they just saying, hey, you know what, we don't need to do that. We know what your comp is. We have tools. We don't have pushing tools, but we have, for example, something like Nautilus. We can start the dive, try to bait the Lamb's Respite, and then we also have tools that can be used in this situation, right? You might use Malphite and Flash Annie to engage, but then you might use Nautilus to clean up a fight afterwards, or Wukong saying, hey, you sure you want to jump on this? Yeah, you can knock me up, but I'm still spinning, and that's still going to get you airborne longer than me. Now, Galio taking way too much extra damage here. Annie using the range advantage. Beautiful spacing here. Good job by the Annie, using all of the kit. This is fantastic Annie play. Showing the range advantage, what it does against a Galio. Now, Galio is going to use some amount of their HP as a resource to get last hits, of course. Malphite has expertly groomed this wave for themselves. Expect to get an E combo. No, W reset. Robo getting almost all of them. Not bad. More importantly, not getting dove, right? Like, Aji could have taken that wave, could have cut off this next one, and they could have dove with the Kindred Casante combination, which is so strong, and it looks like they may still try. They're even bringing Galio up. So is the answer going to be to push forward with Annie and Viego? I think it will be. Looks like Viego and Annie are saying, hey, you're up on your own, Robo. You are a weak side. Casante taking the aggro. They push him back. Aji can take one more hit, dives back. Flash needing to be used by Junja, but he gets it and gets out. Literally every single player would have been dead to one more hit. Viego coming over. Now, I'm not sure that I like this. If you can get the read on the enemy team about where their placement is, oh, there you go. You got it. He's going to flash into range to get the XP. You get the execute, no experience given over. Viego trying to get an experience range. Maybe he was just on the edge of it. But I didn't see any animation for him. So they end up getting one back for themselves. Malphite teleports back up into the lane. Malphite getting brutalized in lane again as it happens. Now check out this position. Love how Malphite stayed up. You see how he stayed up right there? That was to keep the minions further out. He's saying, I am more willing to take 14 damage a hit from these casters than I am to actually let them under the turret and have them soaking up damage to let them get into position. So that buys him one extra turret shot, which is what allows them to get the trade back onto Junja, getting his death. At least that's some free time for the Viego on the map. So very well played by Robo. making the best out of a bad situation, we'll say. Now, Nautilus, able to get Glacial Augment out, but it is not enough to stop them. Waco was taking the damage the whole time. Now they will push this in. Croc will hold this down just by dissuading against the all-in push. But no, this is a mistake. You've walked up, Waco. You overstepped and you gave Zeri a kill. Is that all right? The wave went in. Zeri doesn't get the wave. They end up getting the pressure for themselves. Aphelios will respawn first, and the flash goes down on Ro. Flash also down on Waco. But did you need to give that up at all? Maybe it was worth it. Maybe it was just worth, and maybe you shouldn't have even flashed. Saying, hey, it's okay. I'm going to die. That's okay. Zeri's going to die as well. Totally happy to do this with a crashing wave that's going to be bouncing back to me anyway. So experience advantage will be going over to the Aphelios. Zeri, of course, getting solo experience there versus the triple sponge there, but just having that wave coming back to you, the fact that you got that out first, we're going to see Aphelios be slightly stronger for a moment on the map, and we see it right now with the Noon Quiver. Now, Berserker's Greaves in for Zeri means that she can look for more of these plays if they find them. Nautilus is going to roam around. Zeri wants to be aggressive and passive, right? Being able to be aggressive and defensive is what makes Berserker's Greaves the best modal purchase in the game, right? Just upgraded tier 2 boots. You can play offense with it. You can play defense with it. Whatever you need. So now, let's see. Do they try to punish the Aphelios with no flash? You get an inside-out play. 7:16. This is perfect timing for it. You can come down. Do they go for the 4v2 in the bot wave? Now, Kindred, not quite level 6. Cannot keep them alive. Also, the wave, over eagerly pushed. They lose the wave push, which means that this play is going to be called off. They end up having to take it into just the Dragon Pit, which is, Ro, you got to leave this alive. Leave that one alive. That is a mistake. I don't think there's any excuse for making a mistake like that. You want that wave to be sitting in position for you. Instead, now they're feeling pressured into this fight. Galio shows up, and he does get first blood, but Galio is going to pick it up on the reverse. Now you're showing the strength of the team right here, able to take down the rest of the fight. I would have loved to see Zeri just step over to the left, leave that minion alive so that you have a negative state for yourself. Let it come back onto your turret. That's fine. That'll give you enough time to take the dragon down. And then reposition. Instead, just kind of lingers. And that buys PSG enough time to get into position, and they get Galio to ultimate, and right, at the cost of 1, they get 2. They get the dragon. They get the reset first on the bot wave. 30 stacks left on this call from Aphelios, and once he does it, they're going to feel very, very good into these fights. Croc trying to get in. Using Viego, gets that reset. That fight would have been even cleaner if they avoid that first chunk of damage. So, Loud should consider themselves lucky that they got that much in. Now, is Galio going to look to push this, right? No real reason to need to. You could just play passively, keep this lane state as it is, but may want to go push out, saying, hey, Kindred's big right now, has a lead on the Viego, so I might want to push and help my team go for the Rift Herald. Now, you see this Catalyst of the Eons build from Galio going to make you very sturdy, right? It's basically just better than Lost Chapter in most situations. Almost all situations. You do lose a little bit of pushing power, right? A little bit less AP, but the fact that most times at this stage of the game, it's going to take 2 cycles on spells anyways, so not really effectively losing anything, even though your damage is a little bit lower. Saying, yeah, I'm happy to trade that for the ability to just stay higher. Stay topped off on mana, stay topped off on health. Right, earlier in the game, if he wanted to get that much wave clear, and it would have cost him 30%, 40% of his HP bar, and now he's able to get it seemingly with impunity. Now, Herald being tucked into this corner actually can't be seen by this ward. I was going to say, that ward must be close enough. But no, look at that, just right on the edge of vision. Here we go. Does Galio want this? They've got the peel on one side. Now, are they going to go for the fight on Tin Hounds? Junja has to step back, uses the smite on Tibbers. Now they're in full retreat mode and they don't have anything else. This is not how you want the fight to play out. You do not want to have to continue retreating after this moment. Aji using the all-out means they do get one back for themselves onto the Nautilus. It means that they will be strong here as well. Aji pressing forward and forcing Croc to use the ultimate to disjoint backwards. So I have to say PSG carrying the rest of the fight just fine once they extend out. But that first blink, right? When you're stepping back, you've got the wall at your backside. You have to have a plan. You have to say exactly what tools are we going to use here. They ended up not using Kindred or Galio. Perhaps should have, definitely could have, as you get the engage right here. So Galio was looking for that engage right here. Boom. Pop. Aji gets ported out, and this is where the discrepancy happens. Right, you have Junja saying I need to go back as Yubao is going forward. Yubao can't ult onto himself, and now Kindred stepped away from the rest of the team, which means that you never get an ultimate angle for the Galio, and you never get an ultimate angle for the Kindred. So something for them to improve, right? They want to have that kind of inverted position. They don't want to be splitting apart. They want to be front to back like this, allowing Kindred to keep the Galio alive, and then Galio will be able to ultimate. You basically want to do a 2 count. You just say, all right, Kindred ult is up, count to 1, count to 2, cast my ultimate, and then you'll be arriving as the shield goes down. So you can knock up everybody that gets that heal and hopefully take the fight for yourself. So now Viego, what is Viego going to be able to do in these fights, right? We've got 4 kills already on the Kindred, looking mighty scary. Already has Kraken Slayer, plus building, it looks like going to go into Black Cleaver. Using the power of the Q, which is going to get all that extra damage out, get those procs to shred the armor. Very effective against someone like Malphite. Also important for this team that with 3 AD threats, right? Galio is not your primary damage threat, nor not even secondary, right? So he's 3rd on the damage totem pole, maybe even 4th to Cassante once he's all out, especially with this Rod of Ages build. Not going to be very high damage. Galio is going to be the utility for this team. So you need someone to build something like Black Cleaver. That's going to be Kindred. They're going to get in. Now, interesting adaptation here. We've got Jackshow. I would have expected the Iceborne Gauntlet, because the main damage threats, again, are double AD on this team. And also, you want to be able to slow the enemies when they're going for this kill. They go for Galio. He tries to do the slingshot E into Zhonya's to reposition himself, hoping that someone would dash forward to connect, and then he could get that stasis under turret. Ends up burning the stopwatch. And Yubao kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say he's overcommitting. Oh, no, check this out. He's going Abyssal Mask. He's going Abyssal Mask? There's no other magic damage on his team. He's doing it just for the upfront from the Annie. It is a fantastic item for the champion, right? To be sure. But with Abyssal Mask, that means we might see something like Jackshow next and Sunfire, and he might just go into Tank Galio. They may be saying like, hey, we're happy to use Galio the way that Caps plays Nautilus. Obviously doesn't have the long extended range. It does have a little bit more damage on the kit, but not by much. I have to say that the 3 best mid laners in the game are all on one team, and they're not PSG. But here we go. They get the commit on Nautilus. Now here we go. The continued fight. Stay alive and continue to win from here on out. You see the ultimate well-timed by Waco. Now Viego does get in. Does get a reset for himself. How much is he going to be able to do? Route flashing forward. This is what you don't want. Zeri flying through the fight. Let's see if she rides this wall to get to the card. Does not get it far enough to take Junja, but is able to clean it up. And this is the power of Viego with those resets. And showing where the power of this team is going to be, and generally always going to favor the team of the aggression, right? The counterattack team, the onus of extra perfection on their play is always going to be on them. And you see this, little bleeds. If they make one little mistake on the combination of their champions, then they're going to be in a tough position in these fights. Now, Nautilus giving their wave away. So PSG, gold difference everywhere except mid. But this Annie's going to be a big problem. Does end up going for Leandries, which means that she wants extra Tibbers. She's got Lucid Boots and Leandries, which is not the highest damage, but showing, hey, I just need to always have these up. It's my job to start the fight, find the opening. Malphite can come clean up on whatever angle, and then Viego and Zeri are going to get the continuation on the fight. Now, PSG does have gold advantage. Are they going to be able to leverage that into some favorite in the fight? Well, they can only do it if they bring Cassante. Cassante being a major part of their lead right here, has a half item up. He's up 34 CS against the Malphite. Did get more damage on the turret as well. So this is going to be a big point for this lead. Now, opting for the Jaksho means that they're expecting these long, dragged out fights, which is what they're going to get, right? You're going to get these long fights. I'm really curious what Galio's going to do next. I imagine just Zhonya's, and then we'll go for Mythic third. Zhonya's being a great tool for surviving in these fights. Stopwatch being used here. They're able to take this pick. No continuation damage coming, but once more tools are down, and once the Galio's dash is down, look at how they win this fight. This is incredible that they're able to take that. The reset there, upfront damage. How were they able to win this? 2v4, down HP as well. They just take the play saying, hey, the game's over if we don't do it. Oh, you know what that was? That was Galio pulling Zeri out of the wall. So Zeri would have had the angle there to get the cleanup. Galio ends up paying the price instead of Junja, which, you know, they'll take all day long. But incredible how strong Zeri is going to be into this low damage comp. And low damage Galio, right? If Aphelios and Kindred, if either one of them is showing weakness, they're going to be able to take the rest of this fight to them. So item completions have gone in. We're going to start seeing the second ones. We're probably seeing Even Shroud from Nautilus, and it's not yet there. Viego's got his Divine Sunder done. Wonder if that's going to be a Black Cleaver for themselves as well. This Abyssal Mask approach from Galio, right? It's not quite Nautilus, and your team doesn't have any magic damage. Normally you want some source of magic damage coming in for everyone bleeding out 30 magic resist, but nope. Doesn't look like they're going to have it. Thresh's Wall and the AP ratio that they gave to the ghosts. That's what it's going to be. The souls that he collects. Late game, Thresh one shot. Easiest YouTube thumbnail ever. Not going to happen. Instead, here we go. They position themselves, Kindred off to the side, making sure that they are never part of the frontal engage. Galio can be the one to take some forward positioning or side positioning on the flanks, right? Because you just want to be in position to ult out. You would like to be here for a big taunt, and they do get the upfront on Malphite, who ults and misses. And now this fight's going to be heavily PSG favored. Expect Loud to not give them any reprieve. They're going to step back, no opportunities to continue this fight. So instead, PSG will take mid. They'll take a second turret mid and take the dragon as their prize. Galio is even strong enough here to say, hey, I'm just going to go to top wave and just stop Annie from getting anything back. Because he's doing it, it means that they can't get the tier 2 turret. It means that they just get the dragon here. Now, I don't like this from Thresh. Thresh actually recalling right now would prefer to see the entire team on a timer together. If they suss out, right? If Loud susses out that there's only one champion on the dragon right here, they might be able to take this. And in fact, this is kind of the window right there. Yeah, Croc could have, perhaps not willing to risk who else is on the other side of the map. In fact, no one's going to be there to support him. Although Annie could have. Annie could have teleported to that ward. They could have made the fight for it. And so now PSG, very much the best soul that they could have gotten for themselves in this game was Mountain Soul. And they've got the Mountain Drake. They've got 3 dragons at their back. And the pressure is going to be on Loud now. This proactive team comp is going to have to execute the next fight just well, right? Probably perfectly because they're down 4k gold now. But we saw that the potential is there. Zeri can do it. Viego can do it. If you can get that upfront catch onto either Kindred or Aphelios, then you're going to feel good going into this fight. But with the extra stats being afforded, the fact that the ultimates are going to be up faster for PSG, the fact that they've got that much extra armor and magic resistance, means that it's going to be harder to get that first kill, right? That first thing. Really, this is a perfect combination of dragons for PSG's comp. Win expectancy approaching 100%. Kind of crazy. Is interesting though, right? That it gave the nod early game at 0 minutes. Just gave the nod to Loud. It's just like, yeah, you've got a better team comp. Easier to execute. But PSG doing it well. Kindred playing lights out. Galio inting just enough, right? Just when it's profitable for the team. Except for that one time down in bot lane where the Zeri got cracked. But, yeah, things looking good for PSG. So now, are you going to fork them? Are you going to actually fight for this dragon? Or are you going to say, hey, we're going to make you decide to go for one, we'll go for the other? They probably want to just hold one spot, right? Their team is much worse in motion. They're much better when the enemy team has to come to them. So expect PSG to try to find one angle and hold it. Try to find one position and hold it. Press forward just enough to get the wards. And probably that just means that they're going to go mid-prio into the river bush just on the side of mid and say, hey, we're going to hold this. We want to keep this one little anchor for ourselves. If you're Loud, the counter to that is make them go across. Make them step across. Make something drastic like starting Baron. If they want to set up on Dragon, start Baron. Make them rotate over to you. And maybe while you catch them in rotations, they're not able to set up their perfect battle lines to set up the Kindred Galio combinations. That said, PSG's in no rush. I'm saying, okay, if you guys want to start that Baron, we can walk to you slowly. We can just meander up. We've got beautiful tools in Cassante and Thresh for peeling. Kindred self-peel, Galio self-peel, and to help the whole team against the dive. Now, Robo's stepping up, saying, hey, let's make the play right now. Let's get you to it. Now, if we're talking about Abyssal Masks, something I haven't seen purchased nearly enough is Abyssal Mask on Malphite. Super strong on that champion, especially if you're jumping in and your team has an AP carry to back you up like a Cassiopeia. But they opt, here we go. They're going to start it off, bring him in. Now check out the formation on PSG. They're stepping up. Aji's going to move first. Junja's going to be dutifully behind. Galio is just going to stay out of range. Galio does not want to be aggressed upon, wants to make sure that he has the angle. So now Aji is slightly out of position. They're going to go for this, but of course you're never going to get this Cassante all the way dead. And in fact, even if you try, they might just all out into the rest of the team. Now Galio getting locked up. Here is what you didn't want. Spread out on the peel. Galio having to go forward, not into Junja's line, but the combination route stepped back when he should have stepped forward, so he missed out on a huge chunk of damage. Now Aji going to get punished here, but no, flashes out, and with the shield, they're able to survive, and they execute the fight. That was on route. Zeri needed to play forward, ends up playing safe, misses out on some opportunities for damage, and they end up giving up 3 kills and getting none in return. Galio holding down the fort in this situation. Now they're able to take the Baron for themselves. Dragon is in 28 seconds, so immediate recalls are coming out. I don't like Galio even touching this wave. The wave is already pushing out. Would have been a slow stacking source for a game-ending threat. Might opt to just stay here. The fact that you've got 12 minions and Baron. So check out this fight. Look at the position. Junja just stepping back. Malphite getting the engage, but no one else doing damage. And now look at Zeri. Zeri stepping up and out away from the team while Robo is up. That is not what you want. You want to kite forward and help them finish the assassination. So Seos and Rout positioning on the left side of the fight while the fight is going right. You could say that maybe Robo just over-committed to get that far onto the Kindred, but Zeri has the tools to get over there, so does Nautilus. So would have liked to see them consolidate and try to get all their eggs on that Kindred basket. If they can get that kill, they maybe take that fight. Now, what you're dealing with is Baron power. Baron buff pushing up mid, moving over to bot to get the dragon set up. Now they're going to feel super strong. They've got an enormous gold lead for themselves. Able to take that upfront damage, killing Malphite before he's able to get anything out, killing Annie. And again, like we talked about, the perfect setup of the Drakes, the most defensive ones to keep them alive here in these positions. And they just play these fights so well. staying alive on the edge of fights, and it's too little too late. Croc trying to get this ulti, but Kindred is able to get it back. They knock him up as the heal comes in, and that's all she wrote. Game is all but over. They're going to gain the soul for themselves, and if you couldn't kill them before, you definitely won't be able to kill them now. PSG will be making it in, stepping up to the next round. So let's see. They still got to go through, finish the letter, write the postscript, sign their name, but the content is all done. They take the Baron Empowered Recalls. Does Malphite? Okay. Something that might have been worth checking out as a Malphite. Be like, hey, they stepped back. I could step up. I still have my teleport after all. I never got to use it in the last fight. Can I force a fight on the two champions that are still here? Right? You're going to lose. But if you can force it, then maybe your team can continue with something. Maybe you get some kind of aggression and create some sort of play, because you're not going to find anything better than that. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to set up a trap window, right? Try to set up one avenue. They're trying to lure PSG through one corridor and say, hey, we can take a fight, but expect the position to be fairly locked down. And of course, Galio is going to be able to help to keep people alive. Jack show on both the Cassante and Galio, showing how long they expect these fights to last. And double defensive itemization again. You see Wit's End now coming out. Black Cleaver mostly aggressive, but has some health attached to it. Wit's End gaining the extra resistances, plus the Merc Tread saying, you know what, I'm not afraid of the Viego and Zeri damage over time. I'm afraid of the burst from Malphite Annie, so I prevent that. I will stay alive to that, and otherwise I will be in good position. Now check this out. Aji ahead of the team. Now it's going to take a lot of effort to kill Aji, because this Jack Show is going to proc. Annie's got the Gargoyle Stone Plate. I actually expect Aji to never go all out now. You basically are only going to go all out if it means peeling for your team. You're going to use it as a peel. It's a stun, a knockback, and a displace. But largely he's just going to keep himself in this position with all this extra health and resistances, saying, I can front for my team. I do not need to go all out this game. I just give Galio a position to ult onto. Now Junja does step ahead of the team. Look at this taunt by Galio. It's a little bit early on the Express. Flashing out from Junja. Can they get this kill? Yes, but what is it going to cost? The rest of the team is going to die here. There's the all-out that we were talking about, right? You can do it on a Zeri to get a Zeri Ted and Waco ripping into the Malphite. They might... no, they're not doing it. Take a sip. Victory drink. Your job is done. You are in. Come on, guys. Finish it up. Trying to help out their fantasy fans by getting a couple extra kills. But well done. PSG Talon takes it, and that'll be game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.